Hi everyone, I'm sure you guys have heard about Mort lately because we are doing a fundraiser and a coloring contest all about him. So I thought it would be fun if I actually introduced him to you all. So I'm going to talk a little bit about him and where he came from, and then I'll actually get him out so you guys can see him as well. Mort is our educational animal here at Decatur County Conservation, and he is a Russian tortoise. So he's found in places like Russia, Iraq, Iran, kind of in the Middle Eastern areas. So not Iowa. The only place you can find a Russian tortoise is actually in a pet store. So that's where we assume he came from. Mort was a very lucky tortoise, we like to say. He was found walking the streets in Des Moines. So that means that somebody had him as a pet and decided they didn't want him anymore and let him go. And again, he was found walking on a street in Des Moines and somehow did not get hit by a car. And a previous park ranger here is now a conservation officer in Des Moines. And he was called to pick him up, and then he gave us a call and brought him down to us. So he's been here with us for about 4 years now, and we love having him here. Russian tortoises are normally found in deserty areas. So like I said, not like Iowa. Iowa is constantly changing with its weather, and it's very cold in the wintertime. So he would not be found here. He would not be able to survive out in the wild. So he was very lucky that he was found and now lives here with us. As you can see behind me, he actually has 2 lamps. He has a heat lamp right here so he can stay nice and warm, and then he has a UV lamp over there that gives him all the vitamins and nutrients he needs from the UV rays from the sun. Someday we hope to have a enclosure by a window for him so he can get natural sunlight, but right now we have that UV lamp. And we also have a mineral block. It's this green block over here. He chews on that every day to also get all the vitamins and minerals that he needs to survive. And because he's found in mostly deserty areas, he actually doesn't need much water to survive. He gets all the water he needs just from his food. So we do have a water dish right here, and sometimes he'll soak in that if he feels like he needs a little extra water, but he gets most of his water from his food. You can actually see him crawling around in there. So I'm going to get him out now so you guys can see him up close, and we'll talk more about what he eats and what makes him different from other animals. Okay, so I have him out now. Here is Mort. We like to call him Mort the Tort because he is a tortoise. So he loves to eat lettuce. That is the only thing we can get him to eat. He is a vegetarian, so he does not eat meat or anything else. He can have fruit every once in a while, but fruit is high in sugars and he can't digest sugars very well, so it's normally a treat. But he gets a plate of lettuce every morning and he eats it all. He loves lettuce, and he gets all of his water from there. But a cool thing about turtles and tortoises, they actually don't have teeth like we do. If you look at him, he's got a little beak. And he uses that beak to bite the lettuce into smaller pieces, and then he just swallows it like that. So that's kind of how they eat their food. So Mort is a tortoise. That means that he is a land tortoise. He spends all of his time on land. He does not go in the water at all unless he wants to soak a little bit, but it has to be very shallow. Tortoises have these very large domed shells, and they're actually kind of heavy, so they can't swim. Because if they tried to swim, they're so heavy they would actually sink to the bottom, and they don't have the strength to swim. So they never go in the water. So he likes his time on land. He spends lots of time in his cage, and he likes it. And also you might notice he has these really long claws, and he's super strong. His legs are super strong. He's kind of got a grip on my finger right now, but he has these really long claws. He uses those for digging. So we've got wood chips in his cage for him to dig in. In the desert, he would dig and burrow down into the sand. But for now, we just have wood chips, and he spends a lot of time digging. But also he uses these long claws to walk. So tortoises don't walk flat-footed like we do. They walk up on their toenails. So he has super strong legs to be able to lift himself up and walk. And finally, one more fact about him. He is a reptile, so that means that he has scaly skin, and he's got super bumpy scales, very dry skin, because again, he doesn't need his skin to be wet because he lives in a deserty area, but he does have this leathery, dry skin to hold in that moisture in his body so he can stay nice and hydrated. So he does have that scaly skin, and also sometimes he sticks his neck out a little bit. He sheds his skin like any other reptile. So right now he's kind of shedding on his neck a little bit. But he doesn't shed his skin like a snake. It doesn't all come off in one piece. It just kind of flakes off. So that's all I had about Mort for now. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask them. He loves people. He loves going into the schools. I like taking him into the schools. The kids get super excited, but he's very nice. It's been so great having him, and we can't wait to someday get more animals like him. So I'm gonna put him back now. He's probably gonna crawl around. There he goes. So next week, we are going to talk more about the turtles you can find in Iowa. So I hope to see you guys next week's video. Thanks.